Today we're exploring a really influential modern spiritual text, Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. It's subtitled A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment.
And it really is presented as a guide. The book argues that much of our modern stress, that feeling of being overwhelmed, isn't actually about our life circumstances.
It's about something internal.
Exactly. It's about our identification with, well, the constant noise in our heads. Tolle calls it the insane burden of 100 things. Our mission today is to unpack how he suggests we can move beyond that right now.
And the book itself started from such a powerful personal experience, we're told. He was apparently in deep despair, really anxious, and kept having this thought.
I cannot live with myself any longer.
Yeah. And just hearing that phrase, it sounds like, the end of the road.
But for him, it sparked something else, a kind of detached curiosity. He thought, wait a minute, am I one or two?
If I can't live with myself, there must be two of me, the I and the self I can't live with.
Precisely. And that realization, it was so profound, it apparently just stopped his mind. Dead silence.
But then came fear, right? He describes being sucked into a void.
Intense fear, yes. But there was also this inner sense of resist nothing. And when he came out of it, the fear was gone. The conflict was gone.
Replaced by peace and this feeling of being the ever-present I am.
That's it. The discovery that our true self, that deep consciousness is always there, just underneath all the mental static. And that's the foundation for the whole book.
Okay, so let's dig into that static. Section 1. Identify this false self, the mind, and the ego.
Tolle's core point is that the biggest block to experiencing that peace, that being, is our identification with the mind. We think we are our thoughts.
Especially those involuntary thoughts, the constant internal chatter.
Right. That monologue or sometimes dialogue that just runs and runs. We often don't even realize we're not consciously choosing it or that we could potentially stop it.
And this is where he really challenges traditional Western thinking, particularly Descartes.
Yes. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum.
Tolle says that's not just wrong, it's the fundamental error, the root of the delusion.
Exactly. Equating thinking with being. Equating your identity with that stream of compulsory thoughts. That, he argues, is what keeps us trapped in conflict and separation.
Because the mind constantly judges, compares, complains.
It fosters a sense of me against the other, or me against my circumstances.
But if we stop identifying with thought, what's left? If thinking stops, does the I just disappear? That feels scary.
Well, Tolle argues that what disappears is the false self, the ego. What remains is being that deeper awareness, the I am.
So the ego is this constructed self.
It's a phantom self, created by unconsciously identifying with the mind. Its defining trait is being a compulsive thinker. It needs constant thought to feel real.
And it seems to avoid the present moment like the plague.
Completely. The ego lives in psychological time. It props itself up by clinging to the past, who I am based on what happened, or by projecting into the future for salvation. I'll be happy when.
One day, I'll be okay. That kind of thing.
Yes, and this focus on past and future, this psychological time, is seen as a complete inversion of truth. The only place true power, true being exists is now.
He calls this attachment to thought an addiction. Which makes sense, right? It feels compulsive, sometimes gives a fleeting sense of, control or pleasure.
But it always leads back to pain. It's like any addiction.
And the mind, or the ego, fights to survive. It thinks if the thoughts stop,
then I will cease to exist. That's the core fear driving the whole mechanism.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of time more. Section 2, psychological time and suffering. He distinguishes clock time from psychological time.
Yes, clock time is practical. We need it to schedule things, learn from past actions without, getting emotionally stuck there. It's a tool for navigating the world.
But psychological time, that's different.
That's when the present moment gets demoted. It becomes just a means to an end, a stepping stone to some future goal where we think happiness lies.
Or, looking backward, it's when we drag the past into the present as part of our identity, like past failures or hurts become me.
Exactly, me and my story. And that fuels guilt, resentment, self-pity, all that heady stuff.
It's unnecessary baggage.
Totally unnecessary. And when this psychological time becomes collective, the results can be devastating. Tolle is quite direct here.
He points to ideologies, like communism or extreme nationalism, that sacrifice the present for a promised future utopia.
Right. The belief that the highest good lies in the future has been used to justify horrific things happening now.
The book mentions, I think, 50 million deaths attributed to communist regimes pursuing that future ideal. It's staggering.
It shows the danger of valuing a concept of the future over the reality of the present, creating hell now in the name of heaven later.
And this connects to our emotions, too, this idea of duality.
Yes, because emotions, as part of the mind, operate under what he calls the law of opposites. Pleasure contains the seed of pain.
So the joy we feel from, say, getting a promotion or buying something new, that's not the real deal.
Often it's just the upswing of a pendulum. It's dependent on external factors. When those factors change or just fade, the pendulum swings back to indifference or even pain.
Because it came from the outside, from the mind's interpretation.
Exactly. True joy, love, peace. These are said to arise from beyond the mind. They don't have an opposite. They just are. They feel different, deeper, uncaused.
And all the negative emotion, the pain that does have an opposite, where does that go? This is the pain body.
The pain body, yes. It's like this accumulation of past emotional pain that hasn't been fully faced and dissolved. It merges together,
Creating a kind of negative energy field within us.
That's how he describes it. Lodged in the body and mind. Sometimes it's dormant, sometimes it's active. He calls it a vicious and destructive monster at times.
And it needs to feed.
It feeds on experiences that resonate with its own frequency. More pain. So anger, drama, self-pity, resentment, violence, it thrives on that.
It literally keeps itself alive by making us create or attract more painful situations.
Precisely. And it finds genuine peace or joy quite indigestible. It can't feed on that, which is a really powerful image, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, so if that's the problem, identification with the mind, psychological time, the pain body, what's the way out? Section 3, the access point.
The key, Tolle repeats again and again, is to learn to disidentify from your mind.
Which means watching it.
Yes, watching the thinker. Becoming aware of the voice in your head without judging it, without condemning it, without getting swept away by it, just noticing it impartially.
Like being the silent witness.
Exactly. When you listen to a thought, and you're also aware of yourself listening, that awareness, that's the witness. That's the I am realization. It doesn't come from the mind. It's deeper.
But how do you actually do that when you're stressed, busy? It sounds a bit abstract.
It starts small. It's about creating gaps, tiny moments of presence. So you're stuck in traffic, feeling annoyed. Instead of just being the annoyance, you notice the thought of annoyance. There's the thought, this traffic is terrible.
Just noticing.
Just noticing it without believing it has to define your state of being. That little gap, that moment of witnessing, is where consciousness starts to grow stronger than thought. You break the identification.
And he suggests using the body as an anchor for this presence.
Very much so. Not just the outer physical body, but sensing the invisible inner body.
The energy inside.
Yes, the feeling of aliveness within, feeling the energy in your hands, your feet, your chest. He says to inhabit the body fully. That simple act of feeling your inner body immediately grounds you in the now. It pulls attention away from the mind's chatter.
And this inner body connects us to something deeper, the unmanifested.
The unmanifested is his term for the formless source, pure being, pure consciousness. The inner body is like a bridge to that. It's where chi, or life energy, comes from. By feeling the inner body, you connect to that source.
Are there other ways, other portals to access this state?
He mentions silence. Really listening, not just to sounds, but to the gaps between the sounds. That inner stillness mirrors the silence.
In space.
Yes, becoming aware of space itself. The emptiness in a room, for example. Noticing the nothing that allows the something to be. It's another way to connect with the formless, the stillness within.
So inner body, silence, space. These are tools to cultivate that timeless state of intense conscious presence in the now.
That's the goal, to make presence your primary state, not just an occasional experience.
Okay, section 4, living the now. This raises practical questions. What about actual problems, bills, deadlines, conflicts? Tolle's answer is pretty radical. If you're fully present, you can't have a problem.
Right. It sounds dismissive at first, maybe, but it's about definition. A situation exists, something that needs dealing with. Perhaps action, perhaps acceptance.
But it only becomes a problem
when the mind grabs onto it, dwells on it, makes it part of your identity, and lets it overshadow the present moment with negativity and anxiety.
So in presence, you just deal with the situation without the mental drama.
You deal with what is effectively and calmly. The psychological burden, the problem, dissolves because your sense of self isn't tied up in it.
This feels connected to the idea of surrender.
Very much so. Surrender in this context means accepting the isness of this present moment completely, without reservation, without mental labels like good or bad.
Accepting it as if you had chosen it. That's a powerful phrase.
It is, and it's crucial to understand this isn't resignation. It's not saying, oh, well, this situation is awful, I give up.
So you can still act to change things.
Absolutely. Surrender is about accepting the now first, acknowledging reality as it is in this precise moment. From that place of acceptance, any action you take is likely to be far more effective, more intelligent, less reactive.
Whereas non-surrender, resistance to the now.
That just creates friction, conflict, suffering. It fuels the ego, leads to power struggles, drama. It's fighting reality.
And how does this apply to relationships? The book is quite direct here too, isn't it? Saying most relationships are just minds interacting.
Which inevitably leads to conflict because egos are inherently defensive and seek to be right or to control or manipulate, even subtly.
And that feeling we often call love, if it flips easily into hate or resentment.
Tolle argues that's not true love, which arises from being and has no opposite. It's more like an addictive clinging, an ego-based neediness where you're trying to get a sense of self through the other person.
But relationships can also be a powerful spiritual practice, a sadhana.
Yes. Precisely because they trigger our deepest unconscious patterns. When a relationship brings out the madness, the jealousy, the fear, the anger, that's actually an opportunity.
An opportunity to see the unconscious.
To bring it into the light of your awareness. Instead of blaming the partner or reacting automatically, the practice is to be the knowing of that pain, that fear, as it arises in you.
To witness your own reaction without becoming it.
Exactly. That's where the transformation happens. You stop feeding the pattern.
And the promise is, if you can maintain that presence, that acceptance.
Drama ends, conflict dissolves. He states it very clearly. Nobody can even have an argument with a fully conscious person because there's no ego there to defend, nothing to fight against.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping up, let's talk about the bigger picture here.
Well, what Tolle is describing is essentially a potential quantum leap in the evolution of consciousness. It's about fundamentally breaking free from ancient mind patterns.
Patterns that have caused so much suffering, what he sometimes calls collective insanity.
Right. And he emphasizes this isn't some brand new idea.
No, he connects it back to core teachings from many traditions. Jesus, Buddha, Sufi mystics, Zen masters.
They've all pointed towards the now, towards presence as the key. He mentions Zen, specifically the whole path being about walking the razor's edge of now.
Constantly bringing awareness back to this precise moment.
So the ultimate takeaway isn't about striving for some future enlightenment. True salvation, true freedom is realizing.
You're already there.
You're already there. It's accessible right now beneath the mind noise. It's about accessing that inherent joy and peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Just stop seeking and realize you are the being you are seeking.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. If our reality reflects our collective mind, and that mind is largely egoic and trapped in time, what happens when you start shifting into presence? Tolle mentions a Buddhist saying about every tree and blade of grass eventually becoming enlightened. It sounds strange, but maybe it points to how our individual consciousness affects everything. What kind of world starts to emerge for you when you step out of psychological time and into the now?